Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can, do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
if you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness.
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
Then you're gonna like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudrama stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
I work in the courthouse, and most of the time we've got our noses pretty deep in the books, but every now and then you just have to look up and talk to a human. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's a bad idea. That place can be a source of good information, like tips on growing your tomatoes, but
Right.
it can also be the source of the worst pickup lines.
Okay. Ooh, courthouse pickup line. Oh my gosh. I never thought of this as a genre.
Or just bad pickup lines.
Okay.
The guy thought that it might work to tell me that, in his opinion, I was like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Oh. Right? I've got eyeballs and a mirror, so I'm pretty affirmed in what I actually, what my number would be, where I'm at. So I'm not looking for anybody to sell me on what I am. I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
But the name of the game, helpful hint for anybody out there who's trying.
Right.
The name of the game is to convince somebody
Their number's higher than it really is.
No.
Oh.
We know where we're at.
Okay.
Convince them that you think they are higher than where they're at.
I like
you
that.
know?
Yeah. That's fair.
Sell it to me that in your estimation
You're at least a 9.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But such a bad approach.
Yeah, that is a bad approach.
I wanted to give him tips on how to make...
No.
it wasn't going to work for me in any regard, but I wanted to help him do better for next time.
Yeah.
For somebody else.
Yeah, because it could be a missed opportunity for him.
Yeah.
I mean, his love could be out there, and the whole thing that kills it is just he doesn't give her a good enough rating.
That's right.
You gotta love the honesty, though.
No, I did not love the honesty.
No, I'm saying I have to, from a distance, right? Yeah. Although, okay, I'm conflicted, first of all. If someone tells me I'm a 7 to 7.5...
I don't remember what the number was. I just remember it was one of those.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I don't know if it's what this says about me, but I would take that as a compliment. I know that's really sad.
It's not true, dude.
Oh, I'm
like 9.5 or 10. Okay.
Oh, you're so sweet. No, there's no way. I also look in the mirror. I'm really good with, if I hit a 7, I feel like I'm probably vaguely above a 5, but not way above a 5. So I'm 7 feels about right to me. But I could see for a woman, you want to let her know she's definitely in that top bracket, not comfortably above a 5, but well below a 7. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good move.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I knew where I was. I know I know where I'm going to fall on that scale.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove to me your ability to guess accurately or to assess things. I'm not here to see how good you are at rating things.
Right. So
you should have been selling it to me.
I'm curious. What is your number when you look in the mirror? What do you see? Because I know.
Probably below a 7. I would say 6.5 or a 7. Yeah.
No.
Yes, certainly.
You're a solid 8.5.
Dude,
to
I've been
9.
working from home since 2019. I am doppelganging with Rasputin these days. Like 6.5 is generous. You can ask anybody who sees me in town. That is a slippery slope. Like you start out like, it's okay, my hair's a little wet, but it's all right. I'm just running into the grocery store.
Right.
And then it's like, I don't need... I don't need makeup or whatever. And then it's, well, I mean, what's wrong with these sweatpants? And then Crocs and socks. And then it's all of it together.
Yeah.
And the next
that's
thing,
the ensemble.
Yeah. So no.
That's fair. I definitely,
It's a slippery
my number
slope.
slides significantly, like no shave, no haircut, sweatpants, all the rest of it. Right. To like where if I've put on, like I've shaved, I've got the hair going, taken a shower in at least the last couple of days type of deal. And then some clothes that don't look like they came from the bottom of a Goodwill stack. It definitely ups your number, and I end up, you end up feeling better too. So it's
Other people might end up feeling better. I was feeling pretty good till somebody pegs me at a 7, pegs me accurately.
no, but if you're in a courthouse, because you're probably closer to the higher end of your outside the house game, I would think.
Moderately. I'm in the record room, and
So you're really
it's
not
just
trying
me
to-
and musty
okay.
books that haven't been opened since before smallpox was eradicated, so I don't try terribly hard. The ability to guess accurately is intriguing, and it is a good thing. It's not how you get a date most
No,
of the time.
I agree.
But I did meet a guy who was pretty on the game, and I had respect for it, but he wasn't trying to pick me up. He was just standing in line with me at the bank.
Okay.
And he had retired from like a circus as
What?
as the guy who guesses weights and ages.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fascinating. I was like, is this a skill that can be taught? Are you born with a spiritual gift? Like, what's your Enneagram number? Like,
The Lord blessed him with
the ability.
son, you're going to be able to guess ages and weights. Like, I don't know how that's going to help people, but
Well, he got half of it.
okay.
So we're standing there, and he's telling me what he does, and I was like, all right. Like, I
Let's
know
go.
you're retired, but like, hit me with it. Let's practice. And he guessed my weight to the number.
Wow.
Like,
Which now
spot on.
that's
But I'm
challenging.
standing in front of him, so if you're even halfway decent or have worked in a medical office where you're doing this thing often, I don't know what skill that takes. But
Yeah.
accurate. But he missed my age by a good 15 years.
He pegged you younger because you have good skincare routine.
Not at all. At the time, I was like late 20s, and he put me at either 42 or 52 years. I don't
No.
remember.
No,
Yes.
he didn't.
Yeah, because I looked at him long and hard to be like,
Like, was he
okay,
screwing with you?
Is this
Yeah.
a joke? And then he was absolutely, in fact, not joking. And I was like, is he just trying to humble me? Did he think I was like cocky or something? And perhaps he's just trying to bring me to my
You look
knees.
fantastic for your age, so how dare he?
But I think maybe that's why he
Maybe-
doesn't work for the
I was
circus
just-
anymore.
You stole my joke. I was just going to say, hence the retired. Like, because that 50%, gosh, ooh, that brings up another question. If you're going to have a guy who guesses age and weight, and he's only going to get half of that equation right, which half would you rather, age or weight? I know my answer, and I'll tell you why, but you go first.
Well, it first matters whether he's going to guess above or below what's true. Because if he'd underestimated my age, he might be my best friend.
That's
he
right.
might have scored the pickup that the guy in the
Ooh,
courthouse
the other guy
did.
missed.
No. But, I mean, I knew where the truth was, and I know what I look like, so you can't very well lie about someone else's age to their face and then believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a thing you can hide. The age situation hurt more.
Yeah,
but
that's
it let
hurtful.
me know that I should probably try harder. So,
This is the subtle way of the world letting you know.
where's the product with a hyaluronic acid that my friends were talking about in the group chat?
That's right. I think I would rather be estimated dead on the age, but exaggerated weight, because then at least you're like, okay, it's easier to lose weight than it is to look younger. Like, you're either right, because I feel like no.
Disagree.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this.
Because-
I thought you were going to be blown away by my argument.
Well, no, disagree, because then you have the burden of doing something about the weight. Whereas
No,
with
no.
age, there's nothing you can do about it. You
Okay,
just
that's what I'm saying. Like, nail the age. The weight is theoretically more in your control.
That's what I wouldn't want. I would rather it be a problem that I don't have to then tackle. I've got enough on my plate.
I gotcha.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Don't need another thing to have to overcome.
Okay, that's
and
fair.
if you were out there overestimating what I really weigh, then that puts a burden on me to rein it in somehow.
My
maybe.
mom is a professional underachiever. I'm an amateur underachiever. I feel like you
training.
You're like, there's kinship here. I feel like you are a classic underachiever. I love that. That's so fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My 2 or 3 postgraduate degrees
Right.
set aside. Oh gosh, man, that reminds me of a conversation I had with my grandmother. I had just finished my 3rd college degree.
Yeah.
I had a career making a decent salary for quite a while, which most people measure their success in those terms.
Right.
I had a couple healthy, happy children, and a marriage that had survived several years. So by most generic standards, it would have seemed that I was doing pretty well. Yeah, or at least doing okay. But I'm sitting at the table and I'm telling my grandmother that I just finished this last degree, and she was like, great. Now all you have to do is get yourself over to the makeup counter and have those ladies teach you what kind of lipstick you need, and then like you can become successful with that. Like that's that was the last tool in my toolkit that I needed to accomplish whatever my life goals were. And I was like, no, that's I have already done all I'm going to do.
Yeah,
this was it. But instead, she was like, get your lipstick and get out there and get it, girl. I was like,
I love it. In her mind, you got to wonder, like you said, you kind of go through those list of accomplishments. Like you've got several degrees, you've got some kids, you're in a marriage that's lasted more than a couple months, and you've made some money. What's that next Everest?
What is your definition of success, Grandma?
And how is my lip game going to change that? That's an interesting question.
And I don't disagree that the lip game matters, because since that moment I've begun to notice in other women, and I've even heard other women say wearing lipstick makes them feel empowered, it makes them feel empowered.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. It makes me feel like I have like flashing lights all around my head, drawing attention to a part of me that I don't really want to examine that closely. Maybe because some dude just overestimated my age by a couple decades, and I don't want anybody to look at me and guess wrong again. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I also wish that I had asked my grandmother further exactly what her definition of success was.
Right.
If I wasn't already there, what could it be?
Yeah. What's gonna happen?
But she wasn't the only person to kind of underestimate where I was feeling accomplished and like done. I can retire now. But there was another pickup line somewhere in that time where someone referred to me as a diamond in the rough.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah. No.
I felt like I was a finished product.
Yeah.
Like, this is as good as it's getting.
Yeah.
Why?
That's
what is
so
wrong
solid.
with you?
Yeah, it's like,
no more pressure needed under a mountain of coal.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
This is carbon in its finest form. Except graphene. I'm sorry. Graphene is probably carbon in its highest form. I don't know. We fixate on diamonds, but that's not it. But I felt like I was graphene already, and here's somebody like trying to encourage me and tell me I was a diamond in the rough.
That's delightful. Yeah, I feel like people have done that a fair amount to me. Even Ollie, there's a lot of comments of like, I really love the man you're becoming type comments that I've gotten through. I know you're like, yeah, so sorry that all I have to offer is this like dirty sandwich bag, but I'm trying to grow into like this. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, that's amazing. All very solid compliments. Yeah,
not solid compliments. Disagree. Disagree on the list of things not to say, but they're otherwise seen as like really helpful and encouraging statements. It just didn't hit.
Yeah, don't hit right.
Not with me.
No, I know. I'm also not the. I don't think I respond. I don't think I respond to threats or inducements to make me change the way some people do. I think to some people it's like you give them a goal, like if you do X, Y, and Z, like the whole carrot thing.
Yeah.
You'll get this, or the stick. Like if you don't, you'll whatever. I don't think either of those really move me. I'm kind of weird that way. It really does have to be intrinsic motivation for me. Like I have to want it for kind of my own reasons. someone else telling me why I should for whatever the reason, doesn't really move me. So like that's why motivational speaking doesn't do a ton for me. How solid.
Like I'm happy for you. No bullying is going to work on this guy. Bully proof, you guys.
Well, except you're like the ones who you are the closest to you, like, your significant other definitely Ollie in my case has the ability to mess with that. But other than like her and maybe one or two other people, like, yeah, the outside voices they just don't like get into my thick head that much, I guess.
What a healthy sense of self. Has anybody overestimated your age by a couple decades?
I used to play this horrible game, which I thought was delightful, with my middle brother, who is, I want to say like 5 years younger than me, maybe 6 years younger. Unclear, because there was my mom had a lot of kids, some of whom now I've forgotten, and
she does not sound like an underachiever, by the way.
She was not an underachiever when it came to kids. She had, as far as we know, 7 children that she told us about. Anywho, but we would work together a lot, and so we would do a thing. We worked in an industry at the time that was mostly, all of our clients were female, like 95%. And so I would do this thing where I would ask them, who do you think the older brother is? And I would say 70% of the time they would choose me as the younger brother, much to my absolute delight, because I'm like, again, like 6, maybe 7, 5, 6, 7 years older, and always endlessly delighted me. But on occasion, I would get, oh, you're definitely the older brother. And then while that's already true, it's kind of like when the person gives you the number that you know in your heart is probably about right, but you desperately kind of want it to be a little higher, or you at least want them to perceive you as higher. It was all fun and games as long as he was taking it in the shorts. But when I started getting, I was like, yeah, this isn't
not as much fun. 7.5.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Yeah, like thanks a lot for being honest. I didn't need that.
I'm not interested in your ability to be accurate.
Right.
I was interested in your salesmanship. Fail.
Right.
So.
Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.